So, government is setting up a task team to deal with the severe impact of power cuts on the farming sector. Farmers have said the power cuts are threatening food security and will lead to a spike in costs. Christo van der Rheede is the executive director at AgriSA. He joins us now. Christo, thanks very much indeed for your time. I mean, this was indeed an urgent meeting. You had the Minister of Agriculture there, many from the food and beverages value chain. What was the response from the department firstly? I mean, was there an appreciation of exactly how power cuts are threatening the value chain?
First and foremost, I would like to thank the Minister and commend him for a speedy reaction to get the entire sector together. And it was a very good exercise because, remember, the agriculture sector consists of many subsectors. So she could hear firsthand what, for example, the poultry industry is experiencing. They made it very clear they struggle to slaughter enough poultry or birds for the fast food sector and fast food outlets, and for your retailers, your sugar and grain industry that depends on irrigation. Also made it very clear that the seedlings are dying because not only did you have load shedding level 6, but you also had a massive heat wave in parts of the country. In addition to that, your fruit sector is exporting to the rest of the world, and you can easily compromise the quality of your fruit if your cold chain has no electricity to provide enough refrigeration for the produce that is being packaged and being transported to the harbors and so forth.
Yeah.
So it's a huge disaster, and those were the things that were put on the table.
Yeah. So I'm not quite sure whether we're just having some audio issues hearing you there, but I think I've got the gist of it. This task team, Christo, I mean, ideally, what would it hope to achieve? I mean, you've got representatives from the entire spectrum there. What's the main objective there?
What we've suggested to the minister is that we need to get specialists from the agricultural industry that understands the electricity issues on that technical task team. They need to advise the minister on, first and foremost, what are the implications for, the political risk, the economic risk, socio-economic risk, also biosecurity risk, and in addition, also security risk for the sector. And obviously give the minister the necessary ammunition to make out a strong case when she engaged with the Minister of Energy and other ministers to then, bring the dire need for the prioritization of the agriculture sector to their attention.
Christo, you've got to supply food to the entire country under challenging conditions. I mean, let's assume power cuts don't diminish and they stay this severe. What are the consequences, and is there relief within the sector? The reason I'm asking is because I heard the idea of the development of alternative energy sources being also tabled around this. What happens if we don't see a diminishing of the severity in those power cuts?
Remember, the sector has done quite well for the past few years, and I think it was one of the biggest contributors to the GDP. Because government did the right thing when they announced the lockdowns to declare agriculture as an essential service. What we are saying is that if we do not support the agriculture sector and we do not deal with this crisis decisively, then you run the risk of the sector just cutting down on production. Many farmers just climbing out. I've already, farmers contacted me. Your dairy farmers in some areas just deciding to close down shop. Your many other farmers, irrigation farmers can lose the entire crop. In other words, the financial sustainability of the agriculture sector will become a massive issue going forward. Because remember now, in addition to this crisis that we are experiencing, your farmers have experienced a massive spike in the price of diesel, the price of packaging, the cost of shipping, the cost of fertilizer. So there's a financial crunch that awaits the agriculture sector going forward. And no farmer will produce food unless they can make a profit which they can reinvest. And in addition to it, remember the sector owes the financial institutions 200 billion rand. We've seen also a spike in the interest rate for the past 24 months, which makes the cost of capital more expensive. So these are the issues that we need to address. Otherwise, the situation can lead to many more commercial farmers just climbing out, which will at the end of the day lead to a shortage of food and which can lead to food insecurity and with all the implications that can result to.